Pranam Acharji. My name is Ashank. I'm an alumnus of this college and currently studying in IIT Delhi. Sir, today is Subhas Chandra Bose Jayanti, and as we know that at the young age of 15 only he read the biography of Swami Vivekananda, and subsequently he read the teachings of Ramakrishna Paramhans and the Upanishads also. And this is not known mostly about this part of his life is not known apart from being a revolutionary. And we also know that Bhagavad Gita was the teachings of Bhagavad Gita was really inspirational for him and has a special impact on his life. So, sir, my question is like how the youth of today can be brought closer to the scriptures so that we can have more revolutionary like him who with having deeper understanding of life.
See, there is no revolution possible without the Gita. We have lot of self-declared, self-appointed micro-rebels these days. Everybody wants to be seen as a firebrand rebel in his own right. But there is no revolution possible without the Gita. And when I say Gita, I do not mean a particular book, a particular scripture. By Gita, I mean a particular class of wisdom literature. So to me, the Upanishads are Gita. And anyway, even if you just say Gita, there are at least 24 Gitas that just I would have spoken on. And most of them are truly remarkable. So when I say Gita, that would also mean, let's say, the words of Ramana Maharshi, or the discourses of Jiddu Krishnamurti. There is no revolution possible without the Gita. Right? Now you know what I mean by the Gita? Yes. Something that uplifts your consciousness, that is Chetana, from its prakritic slavery to liberation. Please pay attention, this is very important. I'm glad this question came up. Your default condition at birth and in life is one of slavery. We do not realize that. In fact, it took the West very long to realize that. Otherwise, the West kept saying man is born free, but is found in chains everywhere. Who was that? Who said this? No, not Dickens. Yes. So, no, we are not born free. Birth itself is slavery. Birth itself is bondage. Have you seen a stillborn baby? Does it have any knowledge, any realization? Is it independent of its body? Is it free of fear, of temptation? Can it control its impulses? So when you are born, you are already a slave. In the moment of conception itself, in the mother's womb, it is slavery that is conceived. So liberation has to be attained, and because that slavery is so fundamental to this body, therefore a great revolution is needed, and that revolution can come only from the Gita. By implication, if there is no Gita in your education, you are condemning yourself to lifelong slavery. How exciting! How exciting! And that's the reason why even those who are not remembered particularly for their spiritual inclination, people like Subhas Chandra Bose, even they founded their core on Gita. When you think of the armed revolutionaries, Rajguru, Sukhdev, even Bhagat Singh, you do not think of them as particularly spiritual people, do you? You think of them as young, dashing, firebrands with guns in their hand. What is not shown to you is that they also had the Gita in their hand. And some part of that propaganda has been deliberate. For example, we are told that Bhagat Singh was a die-hard atheist. Right? And the title of one of his books is often quoted. But if you really go into his life, very, very short lifespan he had, 22, 23 years, you will find he was a voracious reader and he had a great love for spiritual scriptures as well. There is no revolution possible without the Gita. And if you are someone who thinks of the Gita as something old-fashioned and this and that, I won't even wish luck to you. No point wishing luck to you. Even luck cannot save you. Finished. Game up. Are you getting it? It's therefore very important to read on your own of the people in the world who have contributed in remarkable ways. Those people can be counted on fingertips, but they are the ones who have made life worth living. And if you go into the details of their lives, you will invariably find very strong spiritual imprints. It is impossible to be a great person in any field without being spiritual. And being spiritual is not about conforming to the images of spirituality. Wearing particular colors, following traditions, or superstitions, or rituals, or no. Spirituality is none of that. Spirituality is simply what our friend here referred to. An opening up of the mind, an awakening of consciousness. There is nothing esoteric, nothing mystical in it. What we are having here is a spiritual process. It's much the same as any other classroom lecture. There can be a textbook and there can be a syllabus. And this field deserves that. It's called education of the self. Knowing what your mind is like. It's close to psychology. It incorporates elements of neuroscience as well. But it has one thing that sciences do not want to touch. The urge of the ego for liberation. Therefore, spirituality includes love. Love of the highest order. The love of the ego for its liberated self, for its liberated state. That's not a state, but still. Are you getting it? If you are somebody who wants to really be big in life, then you must realize that bigness is the prerogative of what the Upanishads call as Atma. Atma Anant Asim. Not just big, but infinite, limitless, boundaryless. Bigness means nothing if it ends somewhere. If it is circumscribed by a boundary, then what is big to you will be small to someone else, right? It's just a matter of having a bigger boundary. So bigness has a meaning only when bigness means infinity. And everything about your body, your mind, your thoughts and material universe is simply finite. Therefore, bigness lies in being untouched from that which is small, meaning finite. can I just see that the hunger within me is not going to be satiated by anything that is limited? So why waste my time running after these small things? Because I have already have had enough of a run. 5 years or 10 years of experimentation is sufficient. Even 2 years suffices. And I have seen, irrespective of how much I have of what this has to offer, there is an internal clamor for more. The world outside is innumerable. It can be put in numbers, right? Is there ever a number that is final? You can always add one more zero. And you just have 10% of what you had. Are you getting it? 10% is not something you can ever be satisfied with. And you were reduced to 10% just by addition of a zero to what you have. Therefore, the limited world is never going to satisfy you. And you deserve to be satisfied. You are not born to suffer. You are not born to remain restless. You are not born to keep feeling like a slave. Do you see how, when you talk of S.C. Bose, his quest for independence was actually a manifestation of his inner quest for liberation. Externally, politically, what was independence from British yoke was internally, spiritually, liberation from the default condition of prakritigat slavery. Internally, I want to be liberated. And the result of that internal fire is my external action. Do you see this? If you cannot have that internal fire within, your external action will just be lukewarm. There will be no fire, no dynamite in it. You'll be always afraid of death. What kind of revolution can you do if it's the body that's always at the top of your mind? You require a Gita to tell you that this is perishable and would anyway go. Don't be too bothered about this. This is just a resource to be used. This is not a master to be served. You remain in that which remains, whether this remains or not. You require the Gita to remind you that there is something that never gets destroyed because it never gets created. And therefore there is no need to be afraid. It sounds so melodious when somebody says spontaneously, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Let the body fall if it has to. I'll do what I have to. You see, it's not just about facing bullets. It's also about facing rejection and poverty and whatnot. Let's say you want to start something great as a business venture. What stops you? I'll tell you. What stops you is the fear of failure. And if you go into this fear of failure, you will ultimately find that it is the body that you are afraid of. What will happen to this body? What if I am pushed to the streets? What if there is no shelter over the head? So ultimately the war is against the body. Therefore it is the body that you must put in its place. Come on. When it comes to the body, we were just discussing yesterday or day before in the Gita session. When it comes to the body, the Gita says titikshasva. Tolerate. No point raising big hue and cry. Tolerate. And when it comes to the right action, the Gita says yudhyasu, fight. Your job is to fight. And in the process of fighting, bear what you have to. Now do you see the metal that a Bose is made of? Tolerate and fight. And you cannot say that if you are far removed from the Gita. I said I won't even wish you luck if the Gita is not the core of your life. And when I said Gita, I hope I made it clear that by Gita I mean wisdom literature that pulls you up, that opens up the knots within. It could be the Srimad Bhagavad Gita or any other book.